Thank you for joining me. As I say, I'm Kevin Jaffe. I'm a faculty member in computer science, and this is what you'd see if you were here. This is Sitterson Hall, the home of computer science at UNC-Chapel Hill. So, what is computer science? So, if you start off with the dictionary and you go say, ask the dictionary, what is computer science? It'll tell you this, that it's the study of the principles and the use of computers, which is really not a particularly useful definition. Let me try and tell you what computer science is at Carolina. So we have still what we call old school computer science. There's programming, there's software engineering, there's algorithms, data structures, machine organization, which is sort of a first course in hardware, logic design, and then all of the topical courses. We still teach this stuff because it's foundational. I mean, all of the modern computer science is built on top of this, and so you have to understand the foundation. But really, what we're really about is the new school of computer science, which is computing as a technology that is driving innovation in virtually all fields of human endeavor. So we have on this campus a lot of what goes by the name of computational science. A lot of the traditional sciences that used to be done in a lab now get done, a lot of experimentation gets done in software. And so this is what we colloquially call the ICS. There's bioinformatics, genomics, proteomics, essentially a ton of life sciences gets done in software. Then you have the world of big data. This is the data analytics, the data science revolution of trying to gain insight and understanding of human processes via analyses of massive amounts of data. And then there's the technical side of all of the infrastructure that's required to solve, for example, problems in computational science and big data. And so this is cloud computing. This is how you deliver services over a network. How, when you think of a web server, there actually is no web server. There's a gazillion machines that are scattered around the world, one of which gets dynamically chosen at runtime to service the request that you made for web content. And then on the smaller scale of things, it's also about the Internet of Things, which is this vision that everything in the world real soon now will have an IP address and be connected to a network. So the tires on your car, obviously your phone, your dishwasher, everything will be connected, everything will be talking to everything else. And that's the innovation of the Internet of Things. And then we also do work in cyber physical systems, which is the technology behind things like autonomous driving, self-driving cars, the whole mobile computing revolution. So really, what I want you to take away from this presentation is that in this day and age, there's really nothing that isn't computer science.
I'd say I chose computer science as a major mainly because it has so many implications across a broad array of fields. Whether you're interested in biology, chemistry, neuroscience, or even non-STEM fields like music and art, in today's day and age, computer science has implications in all of it. Ever since high school, I've been very interested in data science, data analytics, machine learning, AWS, things like that, and I just saw computer science as the perfect fit for me.
The reason I chose to major in computer science is because in high school I really enjoyed problem solving and math, so I thought this field would be a really good way to meld the two and to keep up with the times.
I knew coming into college that I really wanted to do CS. I took my first class in freshman year, and it was just a Foundations of CS course. We learned a lot about problem solving, and I realized that was something that I really wanted to do for the rest of my life, was just be paid to solve problems. But I didn't know what kind of problems I wanted to solve. I didn't know which subfield I was most interested in, or if I was more drawn to engineering and industry or solving problems with research. And so I spent a lot of my time at UNC just exploring all these different possibilities. And that was one thing that I really loved about UNC, CS in particular, and the CSS program was they gave me the support, funding, and time and freedom to be able to explore all these different things and different ways that I could realize a CS career.
So at a glance, computer science by the numbers, it's a very large major. We currently have well over 1,600 majors. We're actually a little closer to 1,800 now. And I think this is a reflection of the fact that it's a very consequential major. You can do anything with a computer science degree. We also have a graduate program that has about 170 graduate students in it. And we are very concerned about the fact that computer science tends to be unique amongst the sciences and that it has some diversity issues. And we're working very hard to kind of grow the pipeline. And we're very proud of the fact that we've managed to recruit and maintain about 29% female population, which is well above the national average. At Chapel Hill, we have a number of degrees that we offer and some special programs. We have the traditional degree in computer science, which is a Bachelor of Science degree. We also offer a Bachelor of Arts degree. Now, a lot of you are going to come to campus with a boatload of AP credits, which means you're probably going to start as maybe a second semester freshman or maybe even as a sophomore. And in those cases, it's quite likely you're going to run out of things to do in your 4 years here. So to keep you engaged on campus, we offer a combined 5-year bachelor master's program, where, as we say, you get 2 degrees for the price of 1. And a master's degree in computer science is an incredibly powerful degree because it lets you seriously enter the job market at a much higher level than you can with a bachelor's candidate. But for most folks, what we really try and push are the opportunities for independent study and undergraduate research. We are a research department. There's phenomenal amounts of research that goes on here, and a significant chunk of the research mission here is actually implemented with undergraduate help. Virtually every research lab in the department has a significant cohort of undergraduates working in the lab.
So freshman year of college, I was doing research with Kelly Ryu in the Department of Education, and we were working on creating web visualizations for students who speak English as a second language to improve science learning. And that was my first foray into UNC research. I realized I really liked it, and I realized how willing and able professors are to work with undergraduates and how much UNC undergrads are encouraged to work with professors.
I'm working in 2 labs currently. One is with Professor Brent Munsell, who is a professor in the university's computer science department. And with him, I'm doing studies based on brain composition and post-surgical outcomes in patients. So we're trying to see if, based on a patient's brain scan, we can predict whether or not they will have epileptic episodes after a surgery. And the future of this research is sort of being able to use brain composition as a predictor for future pathologies in patients. So for instance, if I take a brain scan of your brain at a young age, I would potentially be able to predict whether you would have any pathologies in the future as you age, like Alzheimer's or dementia.
The following year, I emailed Dr. Mohit Bansal in the Deep Learning and Natural Language Processing Lab, and I stayed with him for the whole year, and we published actually 3 papers as first author, which was really exciting. And the first one being about detecting linguistic characteristics of Alzheimer's, and the next 2 were about detecting sexual harassment online. And during that year, I was able to attend all these conferences around the world where I was presenting my research through the funding with CSS and through scholarships from the CS department and through those conferences themselves. And it was amazing being able to meet all these world-class researchers and learn from their work while in undergrad. So that was really life-changing.
And my other lab is kind of more focused on looking at those who already have neurological pathologies, such as borderline personality disorder, and taking a look at functional MRIs to take a look at whether brain function plays a role in decision making in those with pathologies versus those without pathologies. We know teenagers make impulsive decisions, and so we're trying to see whether teenagers with borderline personality disorder make impulsive decisions that are more or less rash than other teenagers that don't have that pathology.
So all of the topics listed here are things that you can take courses in if you come here. And most of these are advanced courses that you would probably be taking in your junior and senior year. So there's courses that integrate study of computer science with the life sciences. There's hardware courses. There's all of the applied AI courses. So things like computer vision, machine learning, robotics, natural language processing. These are all AI courses, and they're specialized courses, so we don't just generically call them AI. And then we still have, old-fashioned stuff like operating systems and software development and security and things like this.
In terms of classes that I think are most interesting at the university, a lot of computer science students come into UNC already having credit for the prerequisite course, which is Comp 110. But I really think that whether or not you've taken AP Computer Science in high school, that you should take Comp 110 here at the university. It's taught by Chris Jordan, who is an excellent professor, and I think it is the perfect introduction to the department. The way he teaches the course is very structured around being able to immerse yourself in all aspects of computer science. I know he does things with data analytics, I know he does things with art as well, and so it's just a really overall comprehensive course that I think is a really good introduction to the department, whether or not you have credit for it already.
Some of my most interesting classes have been a class that I took last semester, web development. I've never done web development before, so it was really interesting to make websites and see how those kind of things come to fruition.
We want you to engage with computer science. We want you to engage with technology in whatever way makes sense for you. So some people do this as a job, some people do it for course credit, and some people just do it for fun.
My junior year, I focused more on industry, and I wanted to see if I would like that more or less. So my junior year, I was working at Disney, Yelp, and Facebook, doing like bigger company internships, and my senior year, I was focusing on startups, where I was doing part-time work the whole year with different startups that I really liked. And I think all of them came into this like really nice culmination of doing industry research in a really new team on Facebook, and it was kind of like the best of all worlds. And I don't think I would have been able to find that passion for this very specific type of problem solving if I hadn't been a part of UNCCS, where the curriculum kept me competitive, even of the toughest internships, but also gave me that freedom and leeway to be able to explore all these different facets of computer science and what interests me the most.
Some other things that are kind of unique about the program here is it's a very social program. It's a very large major, but we try and make it seem somewhat small through the use through the support that we give to student clubs.
In terms of any advice I would give to incoming computer science students, it would mainly be to get involved. We have a plethora of clubs here on campus. I recently founded the ACM club here at UNC, and I think that with all these clubs, there's so many options for you to dive into, and it's really important to be able to dip your feet in all these different aspects of computer science. We have game development, there's app development, there's cybersecurity, and you want to be able to make sure that you don't sort of constrain yourself to a certain way of thinking before you've explored all your topics.
So you come here, you study, and then you try and get a job. So where do our students go? Well, our students go everywhere. All of the major companies that you've heard of come onto campus to recruit starting in the fall, and here's just a partial list of them.
I just graduated from UNC in May of 2020 as part of CSS4. And I'm currently a machine learning engineer at Facebook on a research lab team working on Bayesian modeling.
In terms of what I want to do in the future, I'm really interested in going into brain mapping or neuroscience application-based computer science fields. Now that could include machine learning, that could include AI, neural networks, it could also include data analytics. But that's right now where my research is very focused around, which is around neuroscience and the brain, and how computer science can help with that field.
In the future, I hope to become a software engineer. I've been interning with Facebook for the past 2 summers, and I'll be going back this summer, and I really enjoy the work that I do there, so hopefully I'll be able to pursue a career in some technological field as a software engineer.
I'm assuming most of you are North Carolina residents, and so within the state of North Carolina, there's always this question of, should I study computer science at Carolina versus NC State? The key thing that I would want folks to understand about the distinction between the programs at Carolina and State is that the difference really has nothing to do with computer science. The difference really is about the type of degree that you get. Do you want an engineering degree or do you want a liberal arts degree? And the good news is it's a completely personal decision. It has no effect whatsoever on your job prospects. It's not the case that Google, for example, hires more engineers than they do liberal arts majors. In a strange way, Carolina graduates are a little more highly valued because they have a liberal arts degree. It tends to mean they have better communication skills, better writing skills, and that distinguishes them from a lot of engineering programs. And so they tend to be a little more preferred. But as I say, to a first approximation, it has no effect on the computer science that you study. You study the same computer science. But the main thing is it's really a personal decision.
Lastly, I would just suggest that you go to office hours, make connections with your professors, because that's how you really get into research. My lab with Professor Munsell was just a connection that I made by going to his office hours and talking to him about his research. I looked up his publications and the work he had done, and I saw that it aligned with my interests very well. And so then when I talked to him, he was very excited to share his experiences in the research area, and now I have that lab with him. So I would say, as an incoming student, to just make sure you form a lot of connections in the department. It's filled with wonderful people who are really willing to help you, and I think that if you take advantage of those opportunities, then there's no limit to your success within the department.
So if I had to give you one advice or takeaway, it would be no matter where you go, whether you come here or whether you go elsewhere, if you're exploring a CS education or any other kind of major, like really grab at those opportunities. They will come at you from anywhere and everywhere, whether that's LinkedIn or, research on campus, or various different like startups around campus. I think you'll have a really great time here.
Good luck to you. I think computer science is a great option to consider, and I hope you do very well at the university. And you can always reach out to me if you ever have any questions or concerns about the department or any other questions at UNC.